Let's begin what's trending by taking reactions to the National Assembly's decision to stand firm in its decision to reject Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's plan to return to her legislative duties, stating that her 6-month suspension will stay in place until a Court of Appeal ruling. Well, according to Senate spokesman Yemi Adaramodu, this uncompromising position is based on the Senate's Standing Order 40, Clause 1, which asserts that matters in court should not be entertained. Adaramodu stressed that this is a constitutional rule that upholds institutional integrity, even if the public misinterprets it as a parliament being a banana republic. The Senate also warned the media against sensationalism, urging journalists to resist partisan pressure and promote responsible reporting. Dr. Bati, I'll take some tweets and I'll come to you because I have a few questions regarding the stance by the Senate. Now, Sola wrote, this is beyond belief. You cannot use the pendency of the judicial process to extend the punishment you have imposed. So a man appeals a 6-year jail sentence, and after completing his term, he has to remain in prison because his appeal has not been heard? Surely, there are lawyers in the National Assembly. This whole idea, the Senate's position indicates that, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan's return is solely dependent on a ruling from the Court of Appeal. Natasha, as we know, had written a letter telling the National Assembly of her intention to return on the 4th of September, exactly 6 months to the day of her suspension. But in reply, her request was rejected. Now, this is all based on the courts. That's what they're saying now.
Okay, we had a guest on this program, Mr. Ibrahim Wali, and in the course of the conversation with him, we tried to raise all the issues.
Yes.
Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan was sent on suspension March 6, and that, due to the efflution of time, that suspension expired effectively on September 4. However, the reality now is that the Senate is on recess. But Mrs. Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan had written that, well, even if the Senate is on recess, the suspension having expired, she should be granted access to her office. Because after all, when the Senate returns, she should have access to her office. There are projects, there are bills she's working on. She can, if she so likes, have access. It was on the basis of that the clerk of the National Assembly then said, oh, there are matters that are still pending in court. Well, I don't think that the clerk of the National Assembly has the authority to determine who comes back to the National Assembly or not. And that is why the leadership of the National Assembly should quickly look into this matter and take a decision. However, if they are going to go by what the clerk of the National Assembly has said, that there are cases at the level of appeal in court, and that those cases to go over them will amount to contempt of court, that it will be subjudicial, because you need the courts to take a decision one way or the other. Now, if you look at that, it looks like the case can go on forever.
Yes,
And that was why I referred to the point made by Justice Binta Nyako when she was looking at this same matter, when she said that, look, if you suspend somebody for over 180 days, which is the total number of time that, a Senate sits in a year, they're high about the people that she's representing. The people that will have been short-served, that will have been short-changed, that will have been denied the right to representation will be, our constituents. And I think that is an important point. And on the basis of that, Justice Nyako advised that, look, the Senate also has the responsibility to look at its own rules and see that in trying to accuse any of your members for gross misconduct, that was the allegation, gross misconduct, that's what they said. You don't then deny the people who have their representatives in power. I think the leadership of the Senate should look at all of this and see how we can move beyond this particular matter, because it's embarrassing.
It is quite
not
embarrassing.
Just to ordinary people, but also within the committee of parliamentarians. There's something they call the International Interparliamentary Union, IPU. That's the abbreviation. And I hope that they will find a way of resolving this matter so that we can all move forward.
Yeah, I'm not sure you answered the question I asked.
Okay,
what your opinion was about whether after serving her 6 months suspension, whether you feel it's right to just extend with the court. Did you answer me?
No. Nobody has said they are extending.
No, it appears
what
so
the clerk said is that there are matters in court.
Yeah.
But I also said that
no, it's because she can't resume. That's what I'm asking.
The clerk is not the final authority.
Yeah.
And two, I said the Senate at the moment is on recess. They are not coming back until September 23.
23.
Now, they have the window to look at this matter. Maybe when they come back on September 23, it's a matter that they can discharge because we don't need this distraction.
All right, well
actually.
said.
The Senate is now claiming that the case is in court, so Natasha should not return because the case is in court, right?
The clerk.
The clerk of the Senate is speaking for the Senate.
We don't know whether it was authorized.
Dr. Adara Madu, like I just read, reiterated that point.
It was authorized because it was in reaction to Natasha.
But we have a spokesperson who actually said
Let me give you
well.
empirical facts that the Senate is hypocritical, and this is an attempt just to stifle the voice of Senator Natasha Akpoti. On the 4th of March, Justice Obiora Egwato restrained the Senate for suspending Natasha Akpoti, but it was vacated on the 20th of March. Did the Senate comply with that judgment then? They didn't. You know what they remember? They now started positing them. The Senate started saying that the court cannot come and intervene to the Senate matter. But the same Senate that said that for Justice Egwato's judgment because they favored Natasha, it is the same Senate now that is coming out to say that things are a court, so let's respect the courts because it favors them in this regard. I rest my case.
Yeah, it screams of hypocrisy, yes. Absolutely.
And the danger of this is that it sends a message of victimization for Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Yeah. It's a strong message in that, and I think just for the integrity of the Senate, they should do right by her. She served her 6 months punishment, well, in quote, suspension. I don't know if we can call that punishment, but her people, most importantly, Senator Kogi Central Senatorial District, have been denied a voice in matters in the Senate as a result of this suspension.
On Lagos, can we
before I come to you
another
on Lagos,
side of it?
Yes. Okay, can I take this one, then you can add on? Well, let's now highlight these photographs of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who had a very warm welcome in Paris, France yesterday, September 10th. These newly released photographs showing President Tinubu smiling and shaking hands with French President Emmanuel Macron were taken at the Élysée Palace. The president is in France as part of his 10-day working vacation. In a post on X, Tinubu stated that he had a productive lunch with the French president, adding that they both reviewed key areas of cooperation between Nigeria and France and agreed to deepen their partnership for mutual prosperity and global stability. Ayo, I mean, the president looks really dapper in that blue suit, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
but, you know, you did in his blue suit. I mean, and they were matching.
They were matching.
Yes,
it just shows that the relationship between the French president and the Nigerian president is quite deep and broad. I had made the comment that the president looked healthy, and that he went for that.
He actually does.
He does look. He looks really nice. So Nigeria's money is working. You know, because no, it's true. Because to a very large extent, we pay for a lot of the enjoyment that the president, the good side. He also works hard, so you know that's part of his benefits as president. So yes, Nigeria's money is working. But I made a statement.
Woman leader.
No. But I made a statement and
it needs your money.
No,
to buy suits.
Money is never too much.
Is it true?
It's never. If not, I hope it was the money used for the trip. I think the money he used for the trip. If you can tell me that because he has so much money, it was his own personal funds that funded this trip, then we can say that he doesn't have money.
EFCC to investigate the source of his suits.
Let me talk about suits because Dr. Abati talks about how.
Can we have a picture?
Abati said that it was GQX.
Yes.
You know, his GQ. And I said, and I still maintain, that I hope that he bought Nigeria to grow the Naira. That suit would have been nicely made in Aba because they make some of the most quality. And this is advocates. I mean, if he's the chief marketing officer, imagine if in conversation with the president of the fashion capital of the world saying, oh, look at this outfit. I made it from this. So let me bring us trade between in France and Nigeria. So any little opportunity or any opportunity to sell Nigeria is very welcome.
Right.
So, sir, please, tell us the maker of that suit. Now, going to your point,
yes,
the truth is that
it's probably an Amani suit.
No, Dr. But I refuse to believe that the president is wearing Amani. Going to France, no. This is my atafo.
Okay.
Promotion.
Promotion.
But let me just say that.
Imagination.
Let me finish. So what I was saying was that in those posts and those X posts and Instagram posts, oftentimes this is what we see. Our leaders, the look of our leaders do not reflect the look of the people.
Yeah.
Now you might say, what is the power of a picture? Only yesterday we talked about Nepal and how this uprising and discontent started with pictures of luxurious lifestyle of politicians' kids, Nipo kids, Nipo babies. And so when people go online, and we're talking about the power of social media, the people in rural areas who are suffering, who have access to a phone, we will look at their picture, open it and say that life is so difficult for me, yet my leaders are shining. They look like nothing is staining their white. This is what caused and what was brewing under when the conflict in Nepal started. I'm just saying that it might look like it's a joke, but it's very true.
Right.
If people continuously see that, oh, our leaders look good, they are traveling abroad, they have access to good quality healthcare, access to infrastructure that we are deprived of at home, it will brew discontent. So while I agree that the president has a right to go on holiday, go abroad, even though I still advocate that there are nice places at home he can go to, there's a point to be made about make your own country better. The world is becoming more intolerant to foreigners, to migration. And so let's fix our country so that we don't need to be lining up or queuing at embassies to get visas to go abroad when we can actually make our country better. So good thing President Tinubu is abroad. So I hope he can learn, see a few things in France that is nice and can come and replicate in Nigeria or even do better at home.
Well said. He's also going to the UK as well. I'm sure that we'll see some pictures from the United Kingdom as well.